Okay, good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, inform your friends to join soon. Okay, meanwhile, we'll start attending. Okay, answer attendance by switching on your camera as well as mic both. Arun Kumar,
Present, sir.
Arya, absent. Bhavya,
Present, sir.
Dhanush,
Sir, Arya.
Arya, are you there? Switch on the camera and answer your attendance. Dhanush, absent. Harshita,
Present, sir.
Hema,
Present, sir.
who is it? One more? Dhanush, I'm not able to see you, man. Yeah. Hema, Hema, absent. Kavya, absent. Kishore, absent. Krupa,
Present, sir.
Mamta,
Present, sir.
Meena, Meena, absent. Mohammed Tafiq, absent. Pawan,
Present, sir.
who is that? Pawan.
Present, sir.
Prabhat, okay. Prabhat,
Present, sir.
Prarthana,
Present, sir.
Pratik Sharma,
Present, sir.
Pratik Karel,
Present, sir.
Pratik Nayak,
Present.
Rajshekhar,
Present, sir.
Tafiq, just mute your mic. Rakshita,
Present, sir.
Ravinandan,
Present, sir.
Rohan, absent. Sahana, JK,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Sahana R,
Present, sir.
Sahana R,
Present, sir.
Sanket,
Present, sir.
Shivani,
Present, sir.
Sonal,
Present, sir.
Venkatesh,
Present, sir.
Vidyashri, absent. Yamuna,
Present, sir.
last person absent Yamuna.
Present. No, sir. Present, sir.
Yamuna, RK, you didn't answer the attendance then. Yashwant Goda,
Present, sir.
Sanjay,
Present, sir.
Bharat,
Present, sir.
Chandrasekhar,
Present, sir.
you are also absent for the last class. Chetan Kumar,
Present, sir.
Chiranjeevi,
Present.
Chiranjeevi,
Present, sir.
Dhanush,
Present, sir.
Divija,
Present, sir.
Vishal,
Vishal, present, sir.
Harsha,
Present, sir.
Jayprada,
Present, sir.
Karthik, Karthikeyan,
Present, sir.
Kavya,
Present, sir.
Kishore,
Present, sir.
Lata,
Present, sir.
Madhu,
Present, sir.
are also absent for the last class. Manjunath, absent. Manoj,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
switch on your cameraman once, because last class also you are absent. I want to see you. Be regular, Manoj.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nandan,
Present, sir.
Pramod,
Present, sir.
Raghu,
Present, sir.
Rohit,
Present, sir.
Sachin.
Rohit, present, sir.
Okay, pa. Next, Sachin. Absent. Sandeepa. Absent. Shashidhar.
Present, sir.
Subhashini. Absent. Swami. Swami absent. Huh? Vedant.
Present, sir.
Vinay.
Present, sir.
Yashwant.
Present, sir.
Yusuf.
Present, sir.
You are also absent for last class, man. Be regular, Yusuf. Yogesh D. Absent. Yogesh GL. Absent.
The Swami present.
Swami present.
Sir, Kishore B.
Sir, Meena, sir.
One second. Kishore be also yourself.
Sir, 009 1JP W.
Last class you are absent.
Sir.
Be regular. Don't miss a class.
Okay. Okay.
Next. Who is that?
Meena, sir.
Sir, Roh.
12.
Okay. Next.
Mohammed Rohan, sir.
One by one. Mute yourself, Swami.
Sir, Mohammed
Tawfiq. Okay, next.
Sir, Rohan, sir.
Rohan KN.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next.
Sir, Vidya.
USN.
31.
Last class are absent.
Oh, sir.
Be regular to the class.
Okay, sir.
Okay, next. That's it. So please answer attendance when I call your names, because it will be time waste here. We keep on calling your attendance once again. It will take time. Okay. For that reason, try to answer attendance as soon as possible. Okay. Okay, we will continue the class. So, in the previous class, we have seen what is high voltage, what is the ranges of high voltage and low voltage. We have came to know the difference between when the high voltage range will start, what is the application of high voltage, and what are the needs for generation of high voltage. We have seen, and we have seen some advantage of high voltage. So just I want to recall those answers. I'll pick randomly some people. Just answer, unmute yourself and answer. Divija. What is the ranges of high voltage? When, at what value the high voltage will start? Divija. You can unmute yourself and you can answer. Divija, you are present, right?
Yes, sir.
What is the range of high voltage? The previous class we have been discussed. Don't worry whether it is right or wrong. So in the previous class it has been explained, right? So then you are not listening to the class. I feel so.
1000 volts, sir.
1000 volts. AC or DC?
Yes,
Correct.
sir.
AC, good. Okay. Next, Harsha. What about DC? What is the range of high voltage in DC? How much?
Up to 125 kilovolts.
120. No, what is the range it will start, man? At what value it will start? At what value we say from here the high voltage will start? Greater than some value. What is that greater than value? Yes?
220, sir.
225. No. You are also not listening to the class properly then. Raghuji. Raghuji, can you answer this? Raghuji. Raghuji, sorry. I need the response from you people. I said in the previous class only. So if you go like, I keep on speaking, you people are listening or not, you are understanding or not, I will never come to know. If the small things, if you answer, if you respond from there, then even I will come to know that, okay, something is, you people are listening, you are understanding. If you're not understanding, I will come to know.
About 1,500.
About 1,500, good. Okay, so in the previous class, I have been posted few questions stating that what is the highest transmission voltage in India with AC and DC? Anyone can just unmute yourself and answer this question. Any one of you. If you're not voluntarily coming, I will pick out some name. Arun Kumar.
400 kV.
400 kV. 400 kV is a high voltage which is transmitting in India. No man. Okay, it's okay. Pawan, you. Pawan, you. You can unmute yourself and you can answer. Pawan, you is not here.
765 kilovolts.
765 kilowatts. Good. It's a correct answer. So at present in India, we are transmitting 765 kilovolts as the highest transmission voltage in India. We have lesser than that also, where bulk power will be transmitted with 765 kilovolts in India. That is the highest transmission voltage in India. But in other countries, there are different voltage levels also. This is happening. And in the state Madhya Pradesh, we have one test bed which is of 1 kilometer length, where we are testing with 1200 kilovolt AC. We are testing for 1200 kilovolts AC, which is only of 1 kilometer length. This has been installed only for testing purpose. Now, if our India is going to change from 765 to 1200, how my equipment should withstand this voltage? So what are the things we have been explaining in the previous class? So insulation testing, withstand testing. So all the testing of equipments will be done here, which is in the place called in the Madhya Pradesh. The name of the village or city is called Binna, B-I-N-A, Binna. So where we have a 1200 kilovolts national test bed. Okay. Very soonly we may see this voltage in India transmitting high voltage. Once all the equipments, your switchgear production, your circuit breakers, CTs, PTs, bus bar, bus couplers, transformers, insulators, lightning arresters, all these equipments, once they test for 1200 kilovolts, whether it will withstand or not, what will be the behavior of these components. When the testing is done, they will manufacture this and they will replace all 765 kV to the highest will be 1200 kilovolts. As of now, in India, we have 765 AC. Is correct. So next we have highest transmission voltage in India, DC. Any one of you? Can you answer?
800 kilovolts.
800 kilovolts. Plus and minus or plus or minus? That need to be
Plus
specified.
and minus.
Plus or minus. Plus or no, it's a plus and minus. Okay, you have to say plus and minus because we have a two lines. If when we say or this or this, when we have a two option, but here we doesn't have an option. There are two lines, which is positive, which is negative. So hence we need to specify as a plus and minus. Plus and minus 800 kilovolts. Is it in India? Someone told plus and minus 800. Is it in India? I am not getting you from people.
Yes, sir.
Is it in India? Where? In which place? Any one of you? Because DC is very limited. We doesn't have much DC power. Can anyone of you say that? Where it is? Don't worry whether it's right or wrong. Whether it's right or wrong, don't worry. Any one of you?
Sir, Assam.
Assam. Okay. Any other answer? Any other answer?
Sir, Uttar Pradesh.
Uttar Pradesh. Okay. So one.
Raichur.
Raichur, we are using HVAC, not DC. Very near to us right now.
Agra.
Sir,
no,
Delhi.
not Agra. Delhi. Yeah, few transmission voltages are there, but very near to us we have one more. That is in Kolar, which is transmitting from Orissa. In the state Orissa, the place is Talcher. From Talcher to Kolar, that is the first DC transmission voltage of in India with a length of 1450 kilometers. 1,450 kilometers length transmission, that is from Talcher to Kolar, with highest voltage transmission of plus and minus 500 volts. This was the highest transmission voltage that was installed in 2003. This was the first HVDC plant in India, longest also. Okay, later on we have more, like north side we have generation. Okay, so we'll see why HVDC is important, why HVAC is important. We'll discuss in the coming classes. So as of now, we can say 765 kV is AC, plus and minus 800 volts DC, highest transmission voltage in India. Okay. So we'll move on to directly class. I will do the presentation. Okay, so you are aware of Bloom's taxonomy. So where in your question paper everywhere we used to write L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6, right? So you are aware of this thing. We need to have these standards according to the Washington Accord, that is NBA standards. Okay, so we need to follow this. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, creating. So at the UG level, we may have L1, L2, L3, L4. That will be sufficient. L5, L6, it will be difficult to understand here in this stage. So these 4 levels will be there according to your syllabus. And the same thing has been explained here. What do you by L1? What other things will come here? And this is my some course objective. What will be going to study from this high voltage engineering? Okay. So we'll discuss conduction and breakdown in gases, liquid, as well as solid dielectric. So these are the 3 dielectric medium or insulating medium, I can say, where we'll understand the conduction process and the breakdown process of these 3 medium. And we also discuss generation of high voltage and current and their measurements. After generating, I need to measure that voltage, I need to measure the current. With a normal voltmeter which you are measuring in the laboratory, I can't measure the high voltage, right? That's the reason we have a CTs, we have a PTs, where the high voltage will be stepped down to the smaller voltage. I can measure a voltage, that is called PT. Okay, and I have a CT, current transformer. PT is a potential transformer. CT is a current transformer. Current transformer also, it will reduce the current to some ratio, 10:1, 100:10. So higher current will reduce to lower current, and I will measure the current. So generation as well as the measurement will be discussing here. And we also discuss over voltage phenomena and insulation coordination in electric power system. So some lightning, about the lightning also we're going to discuss in the 4th model, I think so. And some testing materials of electric operators. We have almost many materials which we need to do the testing. Some we have a routine testing, we have a selective testing. So all this will be discussed in the unit 5. And high voltage testing of electric operators, the same thing we discuss in unit 5. These are some course objectives. And this is my course outcome. So at the end of the semester, once you study this subject from module 1 to module 5 entirely, so these are the course outcome for you, which you can say that I can apply the knowledge for calculating the rating of high voltage and current generation equipment. So we'll be having a knowledge of that, how to differentiate that, how much voltage it will generate, how much current it can generate. So those differentiation you can easily identify. That is the first course outcome. In the second outcome, we'll be having a knowledge of breakdown phenomena, as I discussed. Breakdown phenomena in all the 3 medium, gases, solid and liquid. So we'll be having these things. We're going to understand that what are the standards are there. Those things we'll be studying, we'll be understanding at the end of the this subject. And course outcome 3 will be, we analyze the factors affecting HVAC, HVDC measurement. While measuring these, what are the factors will affect? There are many parameters out there, like temperature might be there, moisture might be there, some other parameters, okay, important parameters which affect the measurement and over voltage phenomena. So all this will be, you can analyze and you can understand this concept at the end of the semester. And you can acquire the knowledge of testing various materials, as I mentioned in the course objective. So we'll be come to know for each material, what are the types of testing you need to do, what is the routine testing, what is mechanical testing, what is electrical testing. So those things will be having a knowledge at the end of the semester. And here, sorry for the interruption. So this is important thing here, where I will be I'll be covering the portion in this fashion. In the module 1, half part I will be doing. That is the portion which has been shown here right now. Okay. And in the module 2, half part, once again, the starting part, generation of HVAC, HVDC. And in the module 3, measurements of HVAC, impulse, everything. So this will be my portion covering till your first internals. Okay. So why we are doing the split up here in exam point of view, in VT exam point of view, you can try to attempt the questions like question number 1A, 1B, 3A, 3B, 5A, 5B. So these questions will be covered even if you're very good at first internal portion. Okay, that's the main point of view. First test will be doing in this fashion. In the second test, module 4 half part and module 5 half part will be doing. It's not half part, I think almost all I will be covering here. Yeah, full part, because a very less topic is there in a module 4 and module 5. So few topics are left out that will be covering in the test 3 portion. So in exam point of view, we'll be covering question number 7 and 9 by covering module 4 and module 5 half of the part until your test 2. And in the test 3, the module 1 left out topic and module 5 left out topic. Module 4 I'll be completing entirely in the test 2 portion. Okay, in the test 3, module 1 left out topic and module 5 left out topic I'll be covering here. So this covers your question number 2 and 10. So this is how I'll be doing here in view of your exam point of view, so that you'll be having, because you have an option that you need to touch all the modules, you have to write any one question at least in all the modules. That's the reason in each test I'm covering one question in each module, so that at least you can write 5 questions by the end of second test. By the end of second test portion, you can attempt 5 full questions. Okay, and the third test will be an optional test for you. The optional topics, you can have a choice now, whether I can go for question number 1 or 2, similarly 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So that's how I'll be covering the portion. And your textbook reference for here is the first one, High Voltage Engineering by M.S. Naidu and Kamaraju. So this is one of the book almost all from many years. So the author, this reference book has been not changed because he has given very wonderfully the concept of high voltage generation, high voltage measurements and testing of different equipments in a power system. So very beautifully it is given. Even I am referring the same textbook. Okay, reference book are there given. No need to refer this. If you feel that okay, I want to understand something more behind the topic which is given in the textbook, you can refer reference if you require. Or else MS Naidu and V Kamaraj is sufficient. Okay, and this is my model 1. Okay, we'll go directly to the model 1 now. So this one. So the model 1 is your conduction and breakdown in gases. Conduction and breakdown in gases. So the first topic here is classification of insulating HV insulating media. Why we are taking the first topic here, it is when we say that we want to generate high voltage, the first parameter or first most important material of high voltage operators is insulation. As we already discussed in the previous class, when you're doing experiments in the laboratory, you could have touched the wire and you have conducted the experiment because there was an insulation provided. So it was easy to do the experiments. Similarly, imagine if I'm dealing with in terms of kilovolts, 700 kilovolts, 1200 kilovolts, sometimes in terms of million volts, lightning stroke occurs. So those many voltages are current. If I want to handle very carefully, the insulation will be the most important material in a high voltage. That's the reason we have a classification of insulating media. So as I mentioned, it's a most important material. The principal media of insulation used are gases or vacuum, we say, liquid, solid, or combination of these, your gas, liquid, or solid, which we say composite. So we make use of this principal media for insulation. So like example, if I quote here, if you take a gas, we have a air. Air is also my insulator. We have a nitrogen, which is also insulator, which we have a SF6, sulfuric hexafluoride, that is also one of my insulating media. So whatever the things I am speaking right now, it is used in my power system, in the circuit breakers or in some cooling purpose. So in many medium we are using that. So as the chapter keep on proceeding, so we'll be explaining, I will quote some example also. Okay, so these are the some example of gas. When you come for liquid, transformer oil, the first and foremost insulation material we are using is transformer oil, because we know that the transformer is immersed in the oil. The transformer is immersed in the oil. So obviously we have a primary, we have a secondary winding, and we have a core. Obviously, if there is a oil is a conduction, then we may get a short circuit. So that's the reason the oil acts as an insulator there between winding and between the core and between the windings also. Okay, so we make use of a transformer oil. We have something like polyethylene oil. There are many things, example there. Okay, so those things will be using in a liquid as a insulation. And we come for a solid, we have a insulation paper, which to say, once again, which we use for a transformer. Like once your primary winding is done, we place, after primary winding, we place insulation paper. Then we place your secondary winding, or we say LV winding and HV winding. We use insulation paper between the core and winding and between the windings also. So the example are mica, high grade porcelain, capacitor paper, which to say ebonite, and acrylic resins are there. Many examples are there. And combination of this is my composite. So these are some insulating media. Just I want to know one thing. The pace which I am going, is it okay? Or I need to slow down, or I need to increase the pace? Are you getting? I need a response from you students. Hello?
Sir,
It's okay, sir.
It's okay?
Yes, sir.
What about others? Everyone?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
feeling okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
Okay,
it's
thank
okay.
you. Okay, thank you. So now the next point comes here, the dielectric strength. So we were talking about the important material was for insulation. Now I need to see the dielectric strength of this insulation. What is dielectric strength? So it is defined as a maximum dielectric stress which the material can withstand. For example, if you take a balloon, pour some water into the balloon, okay, try to put more pressure for the balloon. What happens? The balloon will try to expand till at certain level, right? Till at certain level, it can withstand the maximum stress it can withstand. If you put more and more pressure, what happens? The balloon will burst and the water may come outside. The same thing will happen to my insulating material also. It has some maximum dielectric strength of the material. So how does we define? Till what maximum level the stress it can take, okay, or it can withstand. That is called as a dielectric strength of any insulating media. It could be solid, it could be liquid, it could be gas. Okay, anything. So that is my dielectric strength. This is an important point in my insulation property. Okay. It is also a, how we can define in another way. It is also a voltage at which current start increasing to very high value. Suppose say if I apply 10 volts, the current will be 0.25 mm something, 0.25 milliamps. If I increase 20 volts, it may go to 0.6 milliamps. If I increase to 1000 volts, it may have once again 1 or 2 amps. If I go more than 1000 volts, suddenly the current may increase. Okay. At that point, we say now the 1000 volts or 1200 volts, this was the dielectric strength of that insulating media. After that, if you try to increase that, the insulation will break down. It will become a puncture. We used to say puncture also sometime. Okay, or breakdown. Okay, that dielectric strength will break down, and what happens? The current will flow directly. It's nothing but a short circuit. What happens in short circuit? The voltage will become almost negligible, and current will suddenly rise to the peak. That is what it is saying. The current start increasing to the very high value. So we can define in this way also dielectric strength. The electric breakdown strength of insulating material depends upon the following parameters. So there are 8 parameters, which are the parameters of the insulating material which depends on. The first one, pressure. Already I have been quoted one example, like a balloon with the water. If you try to put a pressure, it can withstand that. Later on, it may burst out. One of the insulating material which depends upon the parameter is pressure. So the next parameter is a temperature. So temperature is also very, very important here. Why? Because so at certain temperature, it may withstand the values. So I have been given just for a to visualize the pressure, to visualize the first indicator pressure, second temperature, humidity, just to give some visualization here. So suppose say your normal single phase supply which you are using in your home, which will be connected with the 2 wires with a phase and neutral. You are putting around 800 watts, assuming putting 800 watts. Suddenly, you may increase almost 1000 watts by bringing some motor or some doing something else. You may increase 1000 watts more. So total watt is coming to 1800. Now that single phase wire, phase and neutral, which can withstand some voltage or some watt, say around approximately it may withstand 1200 or 1500. Now what happens? It has been overburdened. That phase and neutral has been overburdened with 1800 volts. What happens now? The current will be flowing more into that wire, which is not the rated current of that wire. Initially, if we assume the single phase, we may have 5 to 6 amp as a rated current. Now what happens? If I increase the watt, the current will be drawn by the load will be more. If the current drawn by the load is more, the current flowing into the conductor is also more. If the current flows more, the heat dissipation will be more. Okay, the heat is nothing but your temperature. The temperature will rise and the insulation may burn out. That's the reason you might have seen something, the spark occurs, short circuit, and the wire will become black, it will be burned out. Okay, so that's the reason the temperature is also very, very important parameter here for insulation. And next comes humidity. Humidity is also very important point because a small moisture content, say 0.0001% of moisture content is also present inside any insulating media, it will affect. It may instead of withstanding for 1000 kilovolts, it may break down for only 100 volts only, because it will take a path from that moisture content. The current will try to flow from that moisture content will break down. Okay, that's a reason humidity also one of the parameter here. Next come field configuration. It's nothing but your electric field, where the electric field can maximum withstand for any pure material. So that is also one of the parameter. Next come nature of applied voltage. Whether you are applying AC voltage or DC voltage, that also depend. Sometime for AC voltage, it may withstand your insulating media for particular value. If you apply the same DC voltage, it may not withstand for the same value. It may break down early, or it may withstand for longer period also. So it differs with AC and DC. It differs with impulse voltage. It differs with lightning impulse or switching impulse. So there are many voltages which have been seen. Power frequency. It may differ with the nature of applied voltage also. Next, imperfection in dielectric material. So the meaning is very simple. Imperfection, the surface might be not clear. We may have some abrupt curves or any damages in the insulating media. So that also will affect the dielectric strength. And materials of electrode. Which type of materials you are using, whether it's a copper or it is aluminum, or which material, it depends. Sometimes it may break down early, it may take for longer time, depend upon the material also. And the surface condition of electrode. So whether it is a smooth or we can say which the surface is very with a pointed surface with a square type or a rectangular type or a pointed or rectangular or sphere type. So different surface conditions of an electrode. So all these 8 parameters will affect my, these are the parameters which will be affect my insulating material, I can say. So next is the properties of important HV insulating media. Properties of important HV insulating media. So the first one is high dielectric strength. The first one is high dielectric strength, because already mentioned it should be with a high dielectric strength. If the dielectric strength is very less, it may damage very fast. The insulation will become a conduction. Instead of providing insulation, it will become as a conduction. So that's the reason high dielectric strength. High insulating resistance, the point is missing here. So insulating resistance also should be very high. And one more point which is missing here is good mechanical property like elasticity. Good mechanical property, it should not lose its property, mechanical property. And non-inflammability, so it should not catch fire easily. That's also one point here. And thermal and chemical stability, which is given in the second point here, thermal and chemical stability. So it should not be affected by chemicals around it. If it is exposed to, say, in a atmosphere where the chemicals will be there surrounding to the insulating material, it should not affect by that chemical surrounding that. Thermal and chemical stability. And high thermal conductivity, this assists a cooling of current carrying conductor immersed in gas and also assists the arc extension process. So this arc extension is very early for you to understand here. So as I mentioned, in the next semester, we'll be studying one subject, power system protection, there will be studying, but right now I'll be explaining with this diagram. So this diagram is indicating my circuit breaker. So this is a circuit breaker, and you can see this is my fixed contact and this is my moving contact. This is fixed contact and moving contact. So what a circuit breaker does, it is nothing but a switch which makes or breaks the circuit. Makes, mean to say, it will connect the circuit or it will disconnect the circuit. So whenever these contacts are very close, when the moving contact comes close to the fixed contact, it will become a close. If I want to open the circuit, the moving contact will go outside so that I can see a gap here. I can see a gap. So where the circuit will break. Now what happens during this process, it will not happen normally. While breaking the circuit breaker, the arc will appear in between these electrodes because the voltage is very high. The current is flowing very high. The voltage, because higher voltage rating will be using for circuit breakers. So if you try to open suddenly, what happens, because the load is present already. If you try to open that between these two electrodes, the arc will occur. So how to make this arc extinguish? That is the important thing. So that is one point I am saying here. Arc extension process. We'll be studying in detail in the coming semesters. Okay. And next is, there are 3 more important properties of liquid dielectric arc. The first one is the dielectric strength, the dielectric constant, the electric conductivity. So you are aware of this. Dielectric strength is known. Dielectric constant will be having the values depend upon the different materials which is prescribed by the company manufacturer. And electrical conductivity. So these are the 3 most important properties of a liquid dielectric. The other important properties are viscosity, thermal stability, specific gravity, flash point. So why this point here, viscosity, you can observe here in this graph. If the viscosity is very high, the temperature is low. If it is a low viscosity, the temperature will be very high. So that's the reason this is also one of the important property. Now thermal stability we have been explained in the previous slide, and the important thing here is, that is your moisture content. Here I have been given the most important factor which affect my dielectric strength of an oil are the presence of fine water droplet. Even as I said, 0.001% of water in oil will bring down my dielectric strength to 20%. Just imagine, just only because of a 0.001% of a water droplet which is present in the oil, it will drastically bring down my dielectric strength by 20%. So compared to the dry oil. And if you have any impurities in the oil, that also will bring down my dielectric strength of that insulating media. Okay. And therefore, whenever the oils are used for providing electrical insulation, this should be free from moisture, product oxidation, and other contaminants. So that's the thing. We have one experiment when you come for a HU lab in the next semester, probably. We have experiment related to the transformer oil. We'll see that experiment. We'll conduct the experiment. We try to observe any moisture content is left out there. If not moisture content, if air bubble present in the oil also, it may also damage my, it may also reduce my dielectric strength. I need to avoid the air bubbles also, and also moisture content. That experiment we have will be doing in the coming semester. So next is we'll take one by one what we discussed till now. So that is in general about conduction and breakdown in different medium, gas, liquid, and solid. So we'll take one by one. The first one is gases. Gases as a insulating medium. The simplest and most commonly found dielectric are gas. We are aware of this. So which are the gas? I have already mentioned that. That is your N2, nitrogen, or carbon dioxide, or SF6. So all these are used in my circuit breakers also. Okay, we use in a circuit breaker, we use in some of the devices in the switchgear or in my power system. When the voltage applied is very low, small current flows between the electrode and the insulation retains its electrical property. Insulation retains its electrical property. On the other hand, if the applied voltage is large, the current flowing through the insulation increases very sharply and an electrical breakdown occurs. So to understand this, I am coming to the lab here. So I'll be showing you people directly this one so that you will be understanding very well what does that point means. I will stop the and I will go to my camera. Okay. So this is one of the setup here. You can see where high voltage is here. So let us assume now these are my two electrodes. These are my two electrodes. You can see. So this is my one electrode. So two electrodes. This one. Okay. I have been given some space here. I have given some space. So what does my point says there? Whenever I think if possible, I will go to presentation also. Just let me know whether my video and presentation both are visible for you people. Can you see my video as well presentation both? Any one of you?
No, sir.
Okay, then
Only presentation, sir.
Only presentation,
okay.
sir.
Okay, fine. I will go back there then. Just I will read out this point. I will go back there. Just imagine when the voltage applied is very, very small or very low, the small current flows through the electrodes and the insulation retain its electrical property. Okay. On the other hand, when the applied voltage is very large, the current flowing through this insulation increases very sharply and an electrical breakdown occurs. So I will go back here now. So here, so this is my electrodes and this is a gap between the electrode here. So when I pass a voltage here, you can see some setup, the current is here, you can see the wires and you can see here also when the wire is going where the current will pass from this point. Okay. When this voltage, I apply the voltage between these two electrodes, very small voltage, what happened? This air right now, my gaseous insulation is air here because I'm not using anything else. Nothing else here. Air is the insulation medium between this and this. What happens if I apply, say, around 1K or 10 kilovolts? This air will act as insulation, and hence the current will not flow here. The current will not flow from this electrode to this electrode. Once I increase the voltage, instead of 10 kilovolts, if I go for 20 kilovolts, what happens? The air will become as a conduction medium. The air will get ionized until unless the air was unionized. So air get ionized and this will become as a conduction, and the current flow from this to this with the help of a spark. The spark will occur and the current will flow here. I will show the live demonstration also. So meanwhile, I need to exit the room. I can show you people. Just look at that thing here. So I will switch on here. So this experiment we'll be doing in the coming semester. Just observe there. I'm applying some voltage. You can look at this meter also. So I will show here. You can see this one right now. I'm applying some voltage. This is less than 10 kilovolts. Can be increasing there. And look at the electrodes. So right now I'm near to 10 kilovolts. There is no spark occurring. You can hear some sound. I will mute myself. Some hissing noise. Some hissing noise you can just look at there. And I'm increasing the voltage once again. It is near to 10 kilovolts. You can see the spark for just for a few seconds between the electrode. Now still the air is insulation. Have you observed that? Some spark has been occurred. So what happened at this process? So at this point, the spark has been occurred, the air become ionized. Okay. So if the voltage is very less, I'll go back to my presentation. The voltage is very small, the current flows between the electrodes, okay, and it retains its electrical property. So you mean to say it is acting as a insulation. When it becomes, the current is increasing, the current has been increased there, so it loses the electrical property. Instead of becoming a conduction, it acts as a insulate conduction part. Okay, that's the one point there. Then the maximum voltage applied to the insulation at the moment of breakdown. So that air has been breakdown, which is supposed to be insulation, it has become as a conduction. We say that term as a breakdown. Okay, the air has been ionized, or we say breakdown. The maximum voltage applied to the insulation at the moment of breakdown is called breakdown voltage. So whatever the voltage value when the air become to the conduction, from insulation to the conduction, at that point we say the voltage is called a breakdown voltage. Almost all it was near to 11 kilovolts over there, which have been applied right now. And next is the electrical discharges in gases are of two types, which is non-sustaining discharge and self-sustaining discharge. I think we're running out with the time. We have 5 more minutes. I will try to cover this point. We'll continue the next class because we have one more class. Okay, so we'll finish up this. The breakdown in the gases called spark breakdown in a transition of a non-sustaining discharge into a self-sustaining discharge. The buildup of high current in the breakdown is due to the process known as ionization. This is one of the important point you have to note down here. Ionization. So what is this ionization? The buildup of high current in a breakdown due to the process known as ionization. So what happened there? The air, when I was applying a low voltage, the current flowing was very small. The air was acting as a ionization, okay, or insulation. So when the breakdown occurs, what happens? The air will completely get ionized. Initially it was unionized, it become ionization. So ionization is nothing but the conduction process, where each and every molecule's atom will be conducting at that part, and the current will flow from that path. That is called as a ionization. We have a theory for that. We'll explain in the coming class. Okay, it's known as ionization, in which electrons and ions are created from a neutral atom or molecule, and the migration to the anode to cathode respectively lead to high current. So when the spark was occurred, the current will be very, very high. That's what it is explaining here. At present, two theories are there to understand this ionization. What is that? The first one is Thousands theory and Streamer's theory. Thousands theory and Streamer's theory are known, which will explain the mechanism of breakdown under different condition. The various physical condition of gases, namely pressure, temperature, already we explained this. So we'll see that how this ionization process will be done. We can explain with the help of your Thousands theory as well as a Streamer's theory. So I will finish up this slide also, because so that I can go to next tomorrow directly Thousands theory. Yeah. So there is one more word called as a collision. So nothing but bombarding of electrons, I can say. A electric discharge is normally created from unionized gas by collision process. The electric discharge is normally created from unionized gas. The air was a gas over there, which was unionized. Later it became a ionized. Because of the voltage has been increased, the current was more, hence it became a conduction. That is called as a collision process. What are the types of collision? Elastic and inelastic. So what do you mean by elastic, inelastic? I will explain this diagram, which will be very easy to understand. Can you see this diagram completely? I think it is half of the diagram, I think so. I will come out. I think now we can see the diagram completely. So here, you can see what is elastic collision. The collision which will be happening when the elastic collision is nothing but when the collision which occurs. When the collision occurs, you can see there is a collision between two particles which is happening, which is one yellow color and which is of a blue color. You can see the collision is happening between these two atoms, I can say. So when this happens, if there is no change, nothing is happening, no change take place in the internal energy, no change take place in the internal energy of the particles, but only their kinetic energy will be get redistributed. So when this collide, you can see it is moving in a different direction. So the kinetic energy will be redistributed. That is called as a elastic collision. When two particles, it is given here, when the object collides and moves separately after collision. When the object collides and moves separately after collision is called as a elastic collision. This moving separately is nothing but my kinetic energy is redistributed, we say. Whereas in an inelastic collision, what happens? When the object collides and move together, they won't move separately. Okay, when it moves together is called as a inelastic collision. So this is one of the example for elastic collision and inelastic collision. Okay, so in the next class we'll start directly with a ionization process and we will go directly to the Thousands theory. So hope so you're clear with the concept today. So I will post one of the assignment question for class that is related to your highest transmission voltage in India, AC and DC. It's nothing but one small quiz type. I will post it over there. Okay, you can just give the answers over there. Okay. Anything else to discuss? Okay, we wind up. I think we have one more class waiting there. We can continue over there. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you everyone.